Children, so we meet yet again, grade 5. This is the next chapter. We'll start with a new chapter today. We finished with plants. So today we'll start with the chapter animals. Okay. So I'll just share. First we'll do what all topics or the subtopics we have to do in animals. Okay. After that, after I explain everything to you, then we'll go to question answers. Okay. So this is grade 5 Olympiad. Chapter name is animals. Now these are the subtopics you need to know about animals. Okay, if you know these, because these are the top subtopics on which questions are asked. Questions are asked on habitat, breathing methods in animals, movement in animals, body coverings of animals, adaptations in animals, migrations in animals, and body coverings in animals. Okay, I've repeated it, I think. Okay, we'll start with habitat. What is a habitat? Habitat is a home. Any home, any place where the animal or plant lives comfortably is known as its habitat. For example, the habitat of cactus is desert. The habitat of camel is desert. The habitat of fish is a pond or sea or a river or ocean. So anywhere, any plant or animal can live comfortably is known as its habitat. So a habitat is a place where animals or plants live and they get water, food, and shelter. Whatever amenities needed to make their life comfortable is present there. So that will be its habitat. Okay. A lion lives in the zoo also. But is it comfortable? It is not comfortable. So the zoo is not the habitat of the lion. The grassland, the jungle, the forest, that will be the habitat of a lion. So because it is comfortable there, it is its natural surrounding and it gets water, food, and shelter from there. Now, these habitats in animals can be terrestrial habitat and aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat is the place where the animal lives on land. Okay, the land habitat. And aquatic habitat, just as the name suggests, you have read about terrestrial and aquatic adaptations in plants, I think last year in grade 4. So it is similar here. Aquatic habitat is in water, ponds, lakes, oceans, seas, rivers. So that will be an aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat can be the polar region, the desert, the grassland. Okay, so these can be the aquatic habitat, or it can be the mountains also. Mountains are also important terrestrial habitat. So these are the terrestrial habitat. Okay, so I hope you remember now. Terrestrial means land, aquatic means water. And the home on land or home in water. The home on land, habitat in land can be the polar region, the desert, the grassland, and the mountains. And aquatic, the home in water, can be in pond, lake, and sea, river, etc., or oceans. So you've done with habitat. Now let us come to the eating habits of animals. So questions have been asked on the eating habits of animals, on what they eat, what they like to eat. So we have got the herbivores and the carnivores. The herbivores are animals that eat plants, and carnivores are the animals that eat other animals. And omnivores are those that eat both plants and animals. Okay. So these are the three classification, the three groups into which animals have been put based on their eating habits. Okay, now the movement in animal. How do animals move? Now, when you read about plants, you saw that plants don't move, but animals move. And animals have got various types of movement. The animals who live in water will swim. The animals who live near water, for example, the crocodile and these reptiles, they crawl. So that is one characteristic feature of reptiles. They crawl. So there are animals that run. For example, the cheetah, the leopard, it runs the fastest. Okay. So they run. The animals that fly, for example, the birds, the bees, the dragonflies, the wasps, they all fly. So these are the types of movements seen in animals. So animals that fly, animals can walk, run, swim, and crawl. Now the body coverings of animals, how are they? The body coverings can be covered. The body can be covered with fur or hair. Now, all these groups of animals, there are mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. Now, these are the animals which have got a backbone. There are other animals which don't have a backbone. For example, the octopus, the insects, the jellyfish, the snails, they don't have a backbone. So animals that have a backbone are known as vertebrates. Animals that do not have a backbone are known as invertebrates. Okay. You'll do this when you do the skeletal system in your class. Okay. So animals that have backbone are known as vertebrates, and most of them are covered with a body covering. For example, mammals, they're covered with hair or fur. For example, these animals' hair are mammals. The cow, the buffalo, the monkey, the fox, the dog, the lion, the tiger, the cat, they are all mammals. Why? They give birth to young ones, so they belong to the group mammals. Okay, now fish and reptiles, their body is covered with scales. Now remember, the body of fish is covered with waterproof scales, and the body of reptiles, for example, the lizard, snake, crocodile, alligator, turtles, they are covered with dry scales. So that is one characteristic feature of reptiles. Okay. So body of fish is covered with scales, waterproof scales, body of reptiles covered with dry scales. Okay, then the birds, their body is covered with feathers, and they've got wings to fly, and they've got feathers. Then there are animals which have got, which have got a shell on it. For example, the crab, the tortoise, the snail, they've got an outer shell on it. Now, snail and crab, they are invertebrates. Okay. Invertebrates means the body, they do not have a backbone. They do not have a skeleton. But if they don't have skeleton, what gives shape to the body? Okay. So they've got a very hard outer covering, and that hard outer covering gives it a shape. For example, you must have seen crabs. Okay. You must have seen snails. They don't have a skeleton, but they've got a very hard outer covering, and that gives it a shape to the body. For example, insects. Insects don't have skeleton, but they do have a shape. They have a proper shape of their body. So what gives it the shape? There is a hard outer covering on their skin. Okay, the outer covering which is present gives the shape to the insect, shape and support to the insect. So shell. So shell, for example, in crab, which is an invertebrate, and tortoise or turtles, which are vertebrates. Then moist skin, for example, these frogs, salamanders. So they all have got a moist skin through which they breathe. So when they get into water, Now, amphibians, can live on both land and water. So when they live on land, they breathe through lungs. When they go into water, they breathe through their moist skin. So they have these. These are the body coverings of animals. So fur or hair, like in mammals, scales, like in fish, scales, like in reptiles, feathers, like in birds, shell, for example, in invertebrates, like insects, crab, or lobsters, oysters, or in some vertebrates like turtles and tortoises. Moist skin, for example, in frog and salamander. Then how do animals breathe? So the breathing organs in animals. Fish, like you all know, they've got gills. All of you must have seen the gills of a fish. It is red in color. So it is covered by a flap known as operculum. So when the fish breathes, this flap, it opens and the water passes over it. And these gills take in oxygen dissolved in water. Remember, children, fish cannot take in oxygen from the air. They take in oxygen dissolved in water. Okay. Next are insects. This is an insect. Most of the insects, they've got, these openings present. These openings are known as spiracles. Through these openings, air from oxygen from the air enters into the body. So insects breathe through spiracles. Fish breathes through gills. These are all mammals. They breathe through lungs. All of you must have seen this structure of the lungs. The cat, the dog, the horse, the human beings, even the whales. Now you must be thinking whales, they breathe through lungs, but they live in water. So this is what the whale does here. Whales have got something known as blowholes. These blowholes are like nostrils. It is present on the top of the head. Okay. So the whale, very frequently it comes to the surface of the water. Okay. And it takes in air and it closes its blowhole. And the air goes in. And when it releases carbon dioxide, along with that, it just spurts out water. So this spurts of water, if you've seen a whale and it's spurting out water, it is actually breathing. It's not playing, it is breathing and it spurts of water through these blowholes. So blowhole in whales and lungs also in whales, then lungs in all these mammals here, spiracles in insect and gills in fish. So these are breathing organs in animals. Then adaptations. What are adaptations? Now we had read that the animals, they live wherever they live comfortably, that is known as its habitat. But to live comfortably, it needs certain things. It needs certain structures. For example, a camel can live comfortably in the desert. But how does it live comfortably? It has got a hump which can store food for a long period of time. It can go without water for a long period of time. It has got long legs which keeps it away from the hot sun, from the hot sand, sorry. It keeps it away from the hot sand, okay? And it has got long eyelashes so that whenever there's a sandstorm in the desert, it can half close its eyelashes and the sand will never get into the eyes. It has got nostrils which open and close at will. So whenever there's a sandstorm, the nostrils, they close. So these are nothing but adaptations. So these are structures that help an animal or plant to live comfortably. For example, the polar bear. The polar bear has got a thick coat of hair, fur on it, so that it can live comfortably. That is why it can live comfortably in intense cold in the polar region. So here, these are some physical adaptations, the types of feet. For example, the polar bear has got feet which can help it. It has got non-slippery. It has got those padded feet so that it doesn't slip on ice. It has got claws. Claws, they help it to eat. Types of mouth or beaks. The birds, you must have seen the beaks of the birds. Different type of birds have got different type of beaks. Okay, why? Because they have this adaptation. This beak is an adaptation for it to eat. Whatever it eats, it depends on the beak. And the body coverings. For example, the fur of polar bear. a thick layer of fur so that it can live in winter. We don't have thick layer of fur, okay? Because we don't live in an intense cold region. Then this is some protective adaptations, mimicry. Can you see this insect here? It looks like a stick or a leaf. And when it sits on this branch here, it looks like one of the branches. So what happens is it escapes the notice of the enemy. The enemy is not able to see it. The predator is not able to see it, and it can escape. So these are some adaptations by which it can protect itself. For example, the garden lizard. A garden lizard, you must have seen, chameleon. It changes its color according to its surroundings. If it's on a tree, it becomes brown in color. If it's on a branch, it becomes green in color. So it changes its color. So again, why? So that the predator or the bird who sees from outside, from high above, it will escape the notice of the bird or the predator. So they will escape. So this is how they protect themselves. So these are adaptations. I hope you understood what are adaptations. So adaptations are structural features and also behavioral features that help any animal to live comfortably in its home, in its habitat. So adaptations can be structural. Just now we saw the structural adaptations. Now these are behavioral adaptations. For example, birds. There are some birds, for example, if you've gone to Chilika Lake, you must have seen that there are birds who come during winter, the Siberian crane. It comes during winter from Siberia to this lake here. Why? It comes here for food. It comes here because it is warmer here. There it is very cold in Siberia. It is very cold in winter. So it comes to these warmer parts. So this is an adaptation. Okay. So it has adapted itself to survive in the cold, to protect itself from cold. Mimicry. Okay, mimicry is when, for example, you are imitating somebody. Okay, you imitate actors and actresses and your teachers and moms and dads and all. So when you're mimicking means you're imitating somebody. So here these animals, they are imitating their surroundings. Why should they do that? So that they can protect themselves from their enemies, from their predators. Okay. And these are some examples. And I showed you the example of that stick insect. Now here, this leopard here, they can live in the jungle because they will go unnoticed. And amongst the tall grass and all, they will remain unnoticed. So these are some structures which, these are some behavioral patterns which the animals have. Migration, mimicry, now hibernation. For example, the polar bear. When it is very cold in winter, it cannot, whatever food it eats seals. Okay. So whatever food it eats, it is not available. So what will it eat? It will go hungry. Now, if it goes hungry, it will not get energy. So he thinks it is better to sleep and conserve energy. So what the polar bear does, and many other animals, what they do is they sleep during winter so that they conserve energy because they are not getting food. They will, if no food means no energy, so they sleep to conserve energy. And that winter sleep is known as hibernation. And many animals, for example, reptiles and snakes and all that, they go into a hibernation during winter. So these are the topics which we will do. We'll quickly revise. Habitat. Habitat is the home of a plant or animal where it can get water, food, shelter, and it will be living comfortably there. They will live, reproduce comfortably. The food habits, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores are there. Herbivores eat plants, carnivores eat animals, depend on other animals, and omnivores, they eat both plants and animals. The movement, they can fly, they can walk, they can run, they can swim, they can crawl. Most of these animals that can crawl are the reptiles. The body covering, the body is covered with fur or hair. For example, all the mammals. Body is covered with waterproof scale, for example, fish. Body is covered with dry scales, for example, reptiles. Body is covered with feathers and wings, for example, birds. Body is covered with shell, for example, these shells, invertebrates and vertebrates. Body is covered with a moist skin, for example, amphibians that breathe in water through moist skin. Okay, so just check if there are any questions. No questions. Now I'll share the questions. Now I'll start with level 2 because level 1 is very easy and I think all of you will be able to do those questions. So I will start with level 2. I'll just zoom it a bit. Okay. I hope all of you can see. No questions. Okay, following animals X and Y have been paired based on the manner in which they obtain and consume their food. Now here. Now this is a hare, a rabbit. Okay, and this is an insect. Hare is eating grass. It is a herbivore. And insects, they feed on the nectar of flowers. So let's see what is similar to this. Python can be X. No, python cannot be X. Grasshopper can be Y, but python cannot be X because python, it kills by strangling. Hamster, you know what an hamster is? Hamster is a small mouse-like creature, very, very tiny mouse. And people keep it as pets also. And it eats a lot of grass and small leaves also. And bedbug. Bedbug is also an insect, but then it doesn't feed on nectar. Okay, yes, bedbug is, sorry, bedbug is an insect. So here hamster is like belongs to the same family as the hare or the rabbit. And bedbug belongs to the same family as the insect. Viper. Viper is the name of a snake. Python is the name of a snake. Viper is the name of a snake. So housefly. So here, X, hamster and bedbug. This is the answer. Why? Because hamster is herbivore and it eats like this, belongs to the same family as X, and bedbug is an insect. Okay. Next. Venn diagram. I've told you Venn diagrams are very common here in Olympiad exam. So I hope you have understood last time also. Yes, all of you have answered D. Yes. So here, these are the Venn diagrams. 3 animals have been taken, P, Q, and R. P possesses hair, R possesses wings, and Q is something that has got hair and wings. So this is common. So here, what can be the answer? P could be cold-blooded. So this is okay. So P possesses hair and R possesses wings and Q is common to both. So here P could be cold-blooded animal whereas R could be warm-blooded animals. No. What is the meaning of cold-blooded and warm-blooded? Now, cold-blooded animals are those animals whose body temperature does not remain constant. Does your body temperature remain constant? Yes. Our body temperature always remains constant unless and until we have fever. So then the body temperature rises. But our body temperature is always constant. And so we are warm-blooded animals. But animals like reptiles, like amphibians, their body temperature never remains constant. If it is cold outside in winter, their body will also become, temperature will become low. If it is hot outside, the temperature will rise. The body temperature will rise. So they are known as, the body temperature doesn't remain constant. So they are known as cold-blooded animal. So here P could be cold-blooded. Now, P cannot be cold-blooded because P has got hair and all mammals have got hair and all mammals are warm-blooded animals. So this cannot be the answer. Okay, P and R may possess endoskeleton of bones. Now, what is the meaning of this endoskeleton? Endo, the word endo means inside and skeleton means bones. Okay, anything, the arrangement of bones inside your body, that is the skeleton. It gives shape and support to the body. So that is the skeleton. The skeleton which is inside the body is endoskeleton. Skeleton which is outside the body is exoskeleton. Now you may think the skeleton which is outside the body, there is no skeleton outside the body. Now skeleton is something that gives shape and support to the body. So anything that gives shape and support to the body will be the skeleton. For example, in cockroach and all the other insects, they don't have a skeleton, they don't have bones, but still there is something that gives shape and support to the body. Okay, it is the outer thick covering of the insect. So that will be the exoskeleton, skeleton which is outside the body. Okay, so insects, oysters, and say snails and earthworms, worms, they don't have skeleton. They don't have endoskeleton, but they have an exoskeleton. So animals which have got endoskeleton will be like mammals, birds, and amphibians, fish, reptiles. So they are endoskeleton. So can this be an answer? So P possesses hair, which is mammals, and mammals do have endoskeleton. Yes. R possesses wings. For example, birds or bats, they do have endoskeleton. Yes. So this will be the answer. Okay. P breathes through spiracles. Again, I had told, that is why I was doing all that revision before we started the question. So you know some terms before we start with the questions. So spiracles are what? Spiracles are openings present in insects from where they take in oxygen from the air. Okay. So these are the spiracles. So spiracles are present in insects. So P breathes through spiracles, but P does not have, insects do not have hair. So this is not the correct answer. Okay. Q could have hollow bones. How Q could have hollow bones? R can have hollow bones because R has got wings. And Q cannot have hollow bones because Q will not possess hair. So this will not be the answer. So B will be the answer. Select the option that correctly, this is also a Olympiad favorite type of question. Select the option that correctly identifies the animals X and Y in the given flowchart. So select the option that correctly identifies the animals X and Y in the given flowchart. So animal lays eggs, yes. Lives on both land and water will be Y. So somebody who lives on both land and water, for example, the amphibians, lives in water only, it lays eggs and lives in water only will be X. What animal can it be? Okay, I hope you can see the entire question. Okay. So X can be hippopotamus, And Y can be salmon. X can be hippopotamus. It lives in water only. No, not so. This will not be the answer. X can be snail. No, snails do not live in water. Y on both land and water. Yes, it can be, but then X is wrong. So dolphin and frog lives in water. Yes, it lives in water. So and Y is frog. Y can live both on land and water. So this will be the answer. Okay. Seal. Seals are living in the Arctic region. They are the favorite food of polar bears and live in very, very cold climate. Ruchi categorized animals on the basis of their body coverings. She made 3 groups and by mistake placed one wrong member in each group. Identify the wrong member of each group and select the correct option. Okay. So based on the body coverings, we had done body coverings. What are the body coverings? The body can be covered with fur or hair or scales, dry scales, waterproof scales, or feathers or moist skin. So here, group 1 is snake, lizard, and crab. Snake and lizard. Both of them have got dry scales because both of them are reptiles. Okay, so I'll just write down here. Here, snake and lizard are reptiles. But crab is not. So this has been placed by mistake. Sloth. Sloth is a bear. Okay, just like we call it a sloth bear. That black bear which you have seen in zoos. So that is known as a sloth bear. Okay, platypus. Platypus is a very, very peculiar animal. I'll just write down the full name. The duck-billed platypus. The duck-billed platypus, later on I'll show you a picture of a duck-billed platypus. Duck-billed platypus is a mammal. And mammals like us, we are all mammals, okay? Mammals do not lay eggs, but this is an exception. This duck-billed platypus, it lays eggs. Now you may think that why have we then put it under the group of mammals? Because all other characters it has of mammals. It breathes through the lungs. It has got hair on its body. And after the eggs hatch, they are fed by the mother. They feed on breast milk. Then grasshopper, sorry. So duck-billed platypus is an exception in the group of mammals. So that is why it is known as an egg-laying mammal. Okay. So duck-billed platypus is an egg-laying mammal. And salmon. Okay. So here, now penguin, pigeon, and grasshopper. All of them can fly. Okay. So this cannot be the answer. Now, let us see the options here. Crab of group 1 should be interchanged with grasshopper of group 3. Why? Because that is not correct. Because crab of group 1, even if it is getting changed with grasshopper also, it will not make the group complete. I'll just remove this. So salmon of group 2, this is group 2, should be interchanged with pigeon of group 3. If it is interchanged with pigeon here, pigeon can fly, duck-billed platypus cannot fly, sloth cannot fly. Okay, so this is not the answer. Then, okay, platypus of group 2, in this duck-billed platypus should be interchanged with pigeon of group 3. This we did. Grasshopper of group 3 should be replaced with parakeet. Now here, the grasshopper, penguin, pigeon, and grasshopper, all of them can fly and The grasshopper of group 3, if it is, but grasshopper is not a bird, it is an insect. So penguin is a bird, pigeon is a bird, grasshopper is not a bird. So if it is replaced with parakeet, parakeet is a bird that looks like a parrot, but bigger than a parrot. So if it is replaced with parakeet, then this will be correct. So the answer here will be this. So grasshopper of group 3 should be replaced with parakeet. So then the group will be complete. Identify the given pictures and select the correct match. Okay. Now before this, I would like you to recall the life cycles of animals. Okay. You had done it in grade 4. In life cycle, you had done, I think, a life cycle of a frog and life cycle of a butterfly. Now the life cycle of a frog has got 4 stages. The adult frog lays eggs and the eggs hatch to form a tadpole. This tadpole undergoes many changes to become the adult again. Okay. So the adult frog, egg, tadpole, and then the adult frog again. So here it has got 4 stages in which it will become adult. Similarly, the butterfly. The butterfly, adult butterfly lays eggs. The eggs hatch to form the caterpillar. Caterpillar forms the pupa, and the pupa back again to the adult. So here again, it has got 4 stages. Okay. So after this, now that you know this, so we have quickly revised that. We'll come back to this. Identify the given pictures and select the correct match. This is P, this is R, and this is Q. P is an ant, R is a cockroach, and Q is a housefly. P, body is covered with a hard covering called cuticle. Now P, all the insects I told you is, they do not have a skeleton. They do not have an endoskeleton. They do not have bones inside their body. But there is something which is supporting the body, which is present outside the body. What is that? That is an exoskeleton. And here, the body of an ant, the body of a cockroach, all the insects, they're covered with a hard covering, which is known as a cuticle. This is the cuticle. So the hard covering of insects is known as a cuticle. So P body is covered by a hard covering called cuticle. Life cycle consists of 4 stages. Q, life cycle consists of 4 stages. Okay, housefly, like all insects. Body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. Now here all insects, the body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. That is a characteristic feature of all the insects. So here, this answer is correct. Let me see what you have answered. No answers so far. Okay, so here, this will be the answer. So body of the ant is covered by a cuticle. Cuticle is the exoskeleton. Life cycle consists of 4 stages. Like all insects, life cycle of a housefly consists of 4 stages. That is the adult, then the egg, then the larva, and then the adult again. Body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. So this is in all the insects, and cockroach is an insect. So this is correct. So this answer will be the correct answer, the correct match, not the others. So here it breathes through spiracles. That is correct. Here it breathes through spiracles. It lays eggs in water. For example, the housefly, no, it has a backbone. R doesn't have a backbone. It is an invertebrate. So animals which do not have a backbone are known as invertebrates. Animals that have a backbone are known as vertebrates. Okay, next. Study the table given below, describing the characteristics of 4 animals, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay. Which of the following is likely to be a mosquito? All insects, remember children, have got 6 legs or 3 pairs of legs. Spiders are not insects. Okay, they belong to another subgroup. So they have got 4 pairs of legs. So, but all the insects, they've got 3 pairs of legs. So this is correct. So this can be a mosquito. So W can be mosquito or Y can be mosquito. Next, it breathes through its gills. No, the mosquito doesn't breathe through its gills. How does it breathe? See, mosquito is an insect. So how will it breathe? It will breathe through its spiracles. So it breathes through its gills? No, W cannot be because here there is a tick. So W breathes through its gills. No. So W is not mosquito. So that means Y will be mosquito. Okay. So because it has got 6 legs, yes. It breathes through its gills, no. It possesses hollow bones, no. Mosquito doesn't possess any bones. So this will be the answer. So answer will be Y. Okay. Yes, you are also writing down C, CY. Right. Refer to the given flowchart and identify animals P, Q, and R. This is the flowchart. Animal that possesses shell as its outer covering. For example, it can be a snail, it can be tortoise, it can be turtles, okay, it can be crab. Animal is warm-blooded. Animal which possesses shell as an outer covering, yes, okay. Animal is warm-blooded will be P. Animal lacks backbone, it no will be, if it lacks a backbone, yes, Q. If it lacks no backbone, then it will be R. So let us see the options. Now here, some of the animals you may not be able to recognize. So I've just brought the pictures here for you. Here, the this will be the answer. So that's why I just brought the pictures so that you'll be able to see it. So this is the question and so the answers. Here, these are the answers. Now, these are the animals which have been shown here. And since this is the answer, so I wanted to show you these pictures of these animals here. The answer to this is this one. But what are these animals? Armadillo. Now, this is armadillo. It has got a very, very hard spiny covering here. Okay. And it is belongs to the rodent family. This is an oyster. Okay. Oysters, you must have seen oysters. Shells are made in oyster. You can see this shell here inside the oyster. They've got 2 outer shells here, 2 shells here. In between is a fleshy thing here, and inside it, shells are made. I mean, from oysters, we get shells from the oyster. So this is the oyster. Now, this is a turtle. Odisha is famous for the olive ridley turtles. So these are turtles. It can swim in water, but they come to land for laying eggs. Okay. So these are the animals: armadillo, oyster, and turtle. So let us go back to the question. So animal that possesses shell as its outer covering is armadillo. You can see the armadillo here. It's got a very hard covering. Okay, so it will be armadillo here. And animal that lacks backbone. The oyster does not have a backbone. It is a invertebrate. Okay, and it lacks backbone. Yes, oyster. It has a backbone. Turtle. Okay, turtles are vertebrates. They all have backbones. So here, turtles, tortoises, they're very peculiar because they have a backbone also inside the body, and they've got an exoskeleton outside the body also. That is the shell. Okay, next. Polar bears are adapted to live in the Arctic region. Now, this is the polar bear. This is how the polar bear looks like. Which of these are necessary adaptations for cold habitats? Adaptations. Again, this word has come. What is the meaning of adaptation? Adaptations are certain features which help the animal or plant to live comfortably in their habitat, okay, in their homes. So here, this polar bear lives in the polar regions. Very, very cold there. So how will it live there? It has got a thick layer of fur. You can see here, it has got a thick layer of fur here, which helps it to, like a blanket, to protect it. It has got a thick layer of fat below the skin that keeps it warm. What else? It has got sharp teeth, good sight, furry paws, out of which ones will be the answer? So, this is, so the entire question I'll show you. So, white fur, thick layer of fat below the skin, and sharp teeth, good sight, furry paws. Now you can see the paws here, the paws with which it is walking. So that will be, so you can see the paws here. It helps the polar bear to not slip on ice. Okay. And just under the paws, it has got some hair present on it so that it doesn't skid on ice. It doesn't slip on ice. So one of these adaptations is furry paws. So it will be thick fur, that is 2, 3, thick layer of fat below the skin, and furry paws. So 2, 3, and 4. So 2, 3, and 6. Yeah, this one will be the answer. Many questions are coming from the adaptations chapter. So please understand and keep looking into it, revising it. Why the animal shown in the figure is considered a mammal, although it lays eggs. So about this, I had told you, what is this animal? We had done it in a previous question. Okay, let me see. What have you written? It's a duck-billed platypus. I'll just write down the name here. The duck-billed platypus. So this is how the animal looks like. Now you must be knowing why it is called as the duck-billed, because it has got a beak-like structure just like a duck. Okay. But you can see that it has got hair on its body, just like cows, buffaloes, sheep, goat, and all. They're all mammals. They give birth to young ones. So this has got hair on their body, but it lays eggs. So that is why it is known as a egg-laying mammal. Okay. So, but then why is it a mammal then? If it is laying eggs, we can put it in the family of bird. So, but why is it considered as a mammal? Why? Because it has got fur on its body. It has got hair on its body. Okay. This cannot be the answer. Now, it breathes through the lungs, But that not for this reason it is known as a mammal, because the birds also breathe through lungs, the reptiles also breathe through lungs, the amphibians also breathe through lungs. Okay, so this cannot be the answer. It has got hair or fur covering on its body. So this is a very characteristic feature of all the mammals. Okay, so the answer will be 2 only. Okay, not the others. So this is a duck-billed platypus. It's a very unique animal because it is a mammal, but at the same time, it lays eggs. Mammals do not lay eggs. Mammals give birth to young ones, like the bear, the cows, the buffaloes, the camel, okay, the lion, the cat, tiger. They are all mammals because they do not lay eggs. They give birth to young ones. But the birds, the amphibians, the fish, the reptiles, they all lay eggs. Identify these organisms P, Q, R on the basis of this flowchart. Here, can you all see this? What I'm sharing. So can they see what I'm sharing? Because in the YouTube, I'm not able to see.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because in the YouTube, it is paused. Okay. Now this organism, does it have a 4-stage life cycle? Yes. So it will be P. Now P can be a housefly. It can be a butterfly. All these insects here. Not a cockroach. Cockroach has got a 3-stage life cycle. So it doesn't have a 4-stage life cycle. Does the young one resemble the parent? If it is yes, it is Q. If it is no, then it is R. So now let us see what it will be. Okay. Now, it has got a 4-stage life cycle. A butterfly, a housefly, a frog, they all have got 4-stage life cycle. So here, butterfly. So mosquito, it cannot be, ant, it cannot be, butterfly, this one or this one. So does the young one resemble the parent? If it is yes, then it is Q. Now here, Q can be whale. Yes, the young one resembles the parent. It does not resemble the parent. Yes, in the frog, the young one of a frog is known as a tadpole. Okay. Now, when the adult frog lays eggs, the eggs hatches and the larva comes out. Now, remember children, the larva is the young one of any animal that hatches from an egg. Okay. For example, the larva of the frog is known as tadpole. The larva of a butterfly is known as caterpillar. The larva of a cockroach is known as nymph. So the larva is the young one of any animal, which comes out, which hatches from an egg. Okay. So here, the butterfly has got 4-stage life cycle. So P is butterfly. Whale is Q because it resembles the parent. The young one of a whale resembles, it's just like a small whale. Why? Because the whale is a mammal and it gives birth to young ones. Whales do not lay eggs. They give birth to young ones. They are all mammals. And frog, it does not resemble the young one. No. So it will be R. So here frog is R. Whale is Q. And butterfly is P. So this is the answer. Okay, next. Which of the following best represents the relation between whales, dolphins, and porpoises? Now, all of you know what whales are. what dolphins are. Now let me show you what porpoises are. I think I've got a photograph of here. Here. This is a porpoise and this is a dolphin. Now you will see that both of them stay in water. Okay, they live in water. And these dolphins have got a snout like this, a pointed uh, snout, okay, mouth, but not the porpoises. Porpoises are smaller than dolphins. So that is the difference. Largest is the whale, then the dolphins, then the porpoises. They all belonging to the same family though. Whales, dolphins, and porpoises. So here we put it in this one. So whale is the larger family and dolphins and so the spelling is wrong. So it is DOLPHIN. So this will be this one. So the question was, this again is a Venn diagram. Okay. Which of the following figure best represents the relation between whales, dolphins, and porpoises? Whales is the largest, so this will be the answer. That is C. Okay. The baby of X breathes through its gill. The baby, the young one of X, breathes through its gills. The adult X breathes through lungs, breathes through its lungs on land. So identify X. What can it be? It will be fish. It will be frog. It cannot be whale because the young one of the whale, whales do not have gills. I told you the whales breathe through when we had done the breathing organs of the organisms. They've got a blowhole. They've got nostrils through which air goes in, and when it comes out, carbon dioxide is given out, and along with it, it likes a spout of water. So it cannot be whale. Crocodiles also have got lungs. They don't have gills. Fish has got gills, but the adult also has got gills. So here it is written, X breathes, the baby breathes through gills and the adult breathes through lungs. But fish, all along, it breathes through gills. So this cannot be. So it will be frog. Why? Because young one of a frog breathes through gills and the adult breathes through lungs. That is why they are amphibians. We'll quickly do one more question. So read the statements given by Reena and Meena. Alligators and crocodiles are fish because they live in water. Now, alligator and crocodiles are reptiles. They've got dry scales on their body. Alligator and crocodiles are reptiles because their body is covered with scales and they are cold-blooded. I remember I told you about cold-blooded animals. Their body temperature changes with the temperature of the surroundings. The body temperature is not constant. So which one is correct? Meena is correct. Okay, I've just brought the photograph of a picture of alligators and crocodiles. So this is an alligator and this is a crocodile. The crocodile has got a big snout and it is bigger, and this is an alligator. Okay. So if you've been to Bhitarkanika National Park, you'll see these crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles there. So this is the difference between alligator and crocodile. So I think we'll stop here and we'll continue with this chapter next time. So please go through whatever and I just check whether there are any questions. So there is some doubt here. Somebody has written, ma'am, doubt, but the doubt is not given here. Okay. So that is all. Bye, children. We'll meet next week.